Good morning, dear students. We are going to discuss cranial nerves, which are actually entering inside the orbit and supplying the extraocular muscles and structures associated with it. So, we are going to discuss third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerves. We know third nerve is oculomotor nerve, fourth nerve is trochlear nerve, and sixth nerve is abducent nerve. So all these three cranial nerves may come as a single essay long answer question usually. Muscles of like orbit. So extraocular muscles like cranial nerve innervation. I told you in my previous class when we're doing extraocular muscles, we have a code SO4, LR6. Rest all are supplied by third cranial nerve, that is oculomotor. Lateral rectus is supplied by sixth cranial nerve. Superior oblique is by fourth cranial, and all the other extraocular muscles are supplied by oculomotor. Okay, the movements of extraocular muscles we have seen in our extraocular muscles lecture. Now you can see this is the base of the brain. So in the base of the brain we have different all cranial nerves. Now see, this is the olfactory, which is first, then optic is number 2, second cranial nerve, this is oculomotor. Adjacent to that we have trochlear. Okay, fifth we have already done, that is trigeminal nerve, and sixth one is abducens. Okay. Now let us discuss in detail about the third cranial nerve. So that is oculomotor nerve. It is distributed to extraocular as well as intraocular muscles. The oculomotor nerve, this picture is so good. In fact, we can see the nucleus of the oculomotor nerve is situated in the midbrain. That is the motor nucleus of oculomotor, and then we have Edinger-Westphal nucleus. We can see like it is passing through the superior orbital fissure, right? Before that, you can see it is seen in relation to the cavernous sinus. We have seen when we were doing cavernous sinus lecture. Then, after passing through the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus, it enters into the orbit via superior orbital fissure. So, this oculomotor nerve divides into superior and inferior divisions. So, through the superior division, it is supplying levator palpebrae superioris and the superior rectus. Okay, then through the inferior division, it is supplying the medial rectus, then inferior rectus and inferior oblique. So these are all extraocular muscles. So we know it is also giving one tweak to the ciliary ganglion. So that is the parasympathetic supply we have. So the intraocular muscles which are supplied by the oculomotor nerve are ciliary muscles and the sphincter pupillae. If you practice this diagram and if you understand this slide, you can write completely about oculomotor nerve. Hence, you pause the video and repeat this lecture again and again so that it will be easy. Okay. So the same thing is now being revised. So this is the actually brain stem where you have midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. And this section is actually showing us the cranial nerve nuclei. Nuclei are nothing but the collection of cell bodies of neurons. So the functional components of the third cranial nerve are general somatic efferent we have. Okay, efferent is nothing but motor, general visceral efferent also called as parasympathetic, and general somatic afferent. Afferent is sensory. Hence, it's a mixed nerve. We have afferent and efferent components. The nucleus of the oculomotor nerve is situated in the midbrain, ventromedial part of the central gray matter of the midbrain at the level of superior colliculus. The levels you will learn when we do neuroanatomy, nothing to worry. Okay, so this is the oculomotor nerve in connection with the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, this one at the level of midbrain. This level is midbrain, superior colliculus, inferior colliculus. Then, so now see here, this is the oculomotor nucleus. This is the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Okay, so from both the sides, you will see how I have told you from the previous picture also. This is our oculomotor nerve. Okay. So at the base of the brain, the nerve is attached to the oculomotor sulcus on the medial side of the crus cerebri part of midbrain. The nerve passes forwards in the interpeduncular system to reach the cavernous sinus. Then the nerve enters the cavernous sinus. It descends on the lateral wall of the sinus. In the anterior part of the sinus, the nerve divides into upper and lower divisions. The two divisions of the nerve enter the orbit through middle part of the superior orbital fissure. In the orbit, the smaller upper division ascends and supplies superior rectus and levator palpebrae superioris. The lower larger division divides into three branches for medial rectus, then inferior rectus and inferior oblique. It gives off the parasympathetic route to the ciliary ganglion and then supplies the inferior oblique muscle. Okay. So this is all like the picture where we have the oculomotor nerve. Okay, like its superior division, inferior division, its parasympathetic route, where it is going and supplying the ciliary ganglion. Here is again midbrain, which is showing us the level of superior colliculus and the oculomotor nerve coming out. And this is the picture of cavernous sinus for you to recollect how it is related laterally to the cavernous sinus. You can see not only oculomotor nerve on the lateral wall, we also have the trochlear nerve and the fifth cranial nerve subdivisions, ophthalmic and maxillary. Okay, this is one more picture which is taken from Chaurasia. You can see how this nerve comes out, the third nerve. Okay, it's going between the two arteries like superior cerebellar and posterior cerebral, and its relations to the cavernous sinus, how it is entering into superior orbital fissure and its subdivisions into superior and inferior divisions, and thereby the muscles supplied. So complete and total paralysis of the oculomotor nerve results in ptosis. I have shown you the slide in my previous lecture also, the drooping of upper eyelid, lateral squint, dilatation of pupil, loss of accommodation, slight proptosis, that is forward projection of eye, diplopia or double vision. Okay, so paralysis of left oculomotor nerve, wrinkled forehead, raised eyebrow, drooping of upper eyelid, dilated pupil, and downward and abducted eye. Next, we will move to the fourth cranial nerve, that is trochlear nerve. So in this picture, you are finding this is brainstem, midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Now, we are finding this is inferior colliculus of midbrain. So the trochlear nerve is coming actually. You can see this is again midbrain and this is pons and this is medulla oblongata at the junction of midbrain and pons at the lower level. You will see at the level of inferior colliculus, this nerve comes out, that is the trochlear nerve. It supplies, if you remember, SO4 I said, that means superior oblique is supplied by the trochlear nerve. It is the only cranial nerve which is emerging from backside of the brainstem. All the cranial nerves will emerge from anterior aspect of the brainstem, whereas this is the only cranial nerve which is coming from the posterior aspect of brainstem. So now this is the transverse section of the midbrain where you are finding the trochlear nerve nuclei, and you can see this nerve is coming out and it is passing through superior orbital fissure to supply superior oblique. So this trochlear nerve is seen at the level of inferior colliculus of midbrain. So it has general somatic efferent and general somatic afferent. The nucleus is trochlear nerve nucleus situated in the central gray matter of midbrain at the level of inferior colliculus. This is our trochlear nerve. The surface attachment, it is attached to the superior medullary velum. This area is called as superior medullary velum, which we will elaborate when we do neuroanatomy. Don't worry. It lies below the inferior colliculus. The nerve winds around the superior cerebellar peduncle and the cerebral peduncle just above the pons. This area is pons. Just above the pons, you will see the trochlear nerve coming out. So this is our trochlear nerve. It's related to cavernous sinus, entering into superior orbital fissure and supplying superior oblique. The nerve enters the cavernous sinus by piercing the posterior corner of its roof. Next, it runs forwards in the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. between oculomotor and ophthalmic nerves. In the anterior part of the sinus, it crosses over oculomotor nerve. The trochlear nerve enters the orbit through lateral part of superior orbital fissure. In the orbit, it ends by supplying superior oblique muscle. Okay, so this is the oculomotor nerve. Okay, this is Horaceous picture, which is showing same oculomotor nerve supplying superior oblique. You may practice. Paralysis of trochlear nerve. That means superior oblique is paralyzed, leading to defective depression in the abducted eye and diplopia. Next, coming to the last cranial nerve, that is the sixth cranial nerve, that is abducent nerve, supplies the lateral rectus muscle of the eyeball. It has long intracranial course. Okay, so this is the sixth cranial nerve, which is seen at the level of pons. So functional components are general somatic efferent and general somatic afferent. Nucleus is situated in the upper part of the fourth ventricle in the lower part of the pons. So this is our abducent nerve, that is the sixth cranial nerve, you can see here. So the nerve is attached to the lower border of the pons. This whole thing is pons and this is the lower border of pons. The nerve runs upwards, forwards and laterally through cisterna pontis to reach the cavernous sinus. Okay. The abducent nerve enters the cavernous sinus in the cavernous sinus. It first lies lateral to the internal carotid artery and then inferolateral to it. Now this is our abducent nerve. It enters the orbit through middle part of the superior orbital fissure. In the orbit, the nerve ends by supplying lateral rectus muscle. Okay, this is the sixth cranial nerve, that is abducent. In increased intracranial pressure, it gets compressed, resulting in medial squint and diplopia. Sixth nerve paralysis causes failure of abduction of the affected eye. Okay, so conjugate position, this is the normal position. Now, in case if sixth nerve is paralyzed, no abduction of the right eye on the looking up to the right paralyzed side. Okay, that is no abduction. This is strictly adducted position. So because lateral rectus is not functioning. Thank you.